In their food story, Vietnamese people tell the tales of tastes. Saltiness, sweetness, richness, spiciness, all need to fit in the narrative prose of individual preferences. Each person's taste story was conceived during childhood through the tales created by moms, grandmas, and their hometown soil. When a person becomes an adult, his taste story is never forgotten. No matter where a person is, he will always turn back to his hometown to relive again the flavors of childhood.
Bản thân tôi thì sinh ra ở vùng quê. Sau gần 20 năm công tác ở quê thì tôi theo chồng vào Đà Nẵng. Công tác ở thành phố Đà Nẵng 10 năm, rồi ra dạy học ở Hà Nội gần 10 năm và nghỉ hưu tại Hà Nội.
Ngô Thị Khiếu, a retired teacher, was born in a farming family in Giao Thủy District, Nam Định Province. Her childhood was peaceful and filled with days of running on the fields, crawling up to the kitchen fire, or studying under the dim oil light. But she loved helping her family prepare foods the most. Food in the countryside is simple. Just corn, rice, and beans around the garden can feed someone for a lifetime. And their tastes linger on for as long as one lives. To start her journey, she is bringing with her old bowls and teapots, all part of her collection to showcase to the people at home. Her countryside museum is a picture of the rural Vietnam through many periods. And the kitchen in the museum is the museum's highlight. It's the place where traditional foods are stored with age-old recipes and presentation techniques.
Một cái thực tế nữa là chính những món ăn dân dã của nhà quê cũng lại mai một đi. Vì vậy cho nên là tôi mới nghĩ rằng là tại sao mà bảo tàng mình có lưu giữ những cây trồng vật nuôi. Thế thì tại sao mình lại không chế biến những món ăn cơm quê từ những sản phẩm cây trồng vật nuôi trong bảo tàng.
Only a rural kitchen would have the resources to make a grilled chicken dish like this. Straw must be used as a cushion for the chicken on top of an ash fire. The chicken will be stuffed with herbs and leaves picked from the garden and wrapped in another layer of leaves to protect it from burnt ashes. The chicken will then be placed in a deep cast iron pan big enough to just embrace the chicken and straw bed.
Chảo gang thì một là nó sâu, hai nữa là cái nhiệt độ của nó vừa phải. Còn nếu mà dùng cái chảo nhôm là nó nóng quá thì gà nó dễ cháy.
To the farmers of the past, a cast iron pan turned upside down functions just like a modern oven. The only difference is that with this traditional method, the cook needs to be present during the cooking process. He'll need to add fire, rice husk, or sprinkle ash to ensure constant temperature. The food created through this method is also surprisingly good, with a charred taste like no other.
Con cua dạm này thì nó sống ở cái vùng nước lợ, tức là cái vùng cửa sông ra biển á. Những cái ngày mà mưa rào to rồi là nước sông to đó thì cua nó thường là đi, người ta gọi là cua trôi. Thì vào những ngày đó nếu chúng ta bắt được cua thì là nó rất là bậy. Bình thường ấy, người ta dùng cái mồi là con cá khô, người ta cho vào cái lờ tạm đó. Đó thì người ta cắm một cái đầu xuống sông, xuống ao và thấy cái mùi tanh đó thì cua bò vào và chui vào trong lờ tạm. Thì thường là người ta để lờ vào ban đêm và sáng ra người ta nhấc về.
Salt is the essence of river crab cooking. The hot cast iron pan will heat up the layer of salt. The juicy crabs will then be placed onto that layer of hot salt. In addition, Miss Hugh has a secret to eliminating all fishy smells from the dish.
Nướng cua đều phải ngửa bụng lên, ngửa lên này. Thì cái nước con tôm cua nó không chảy ra ngoài, nó không mất nước. Nếu nước chảy xuống thì lại làm cho muối ướt.
When the crab turns red on both sides, it will also have absorbed the flavors of the salt. What about the chicken, you might wonder? Let's open the leaf layer and take a look. The outside leaf has dried, the herbs have been absorbed completely by the flesh, the skin is crispy golden, and the flesh is highly aromatic. Cooking in the countryside is like that. Hard work that pays off. Maybe it's the taste, maybe it's the process, maybe both, that are constantly fueling people to return back to the countryside, to indulge in its slow pace of life, yet a pace that's so peaceful and intricately tasteful. In the big city of Hanoi's food book, it's not difficult to find new taste chapters. People's migration to the city has brought along tastes of the whole country. Sun Zeong is the owner of An Bien Restaurant, a place that offers dishes from Haiphong, a city 3 hours away. His restaurant tells the story of the port city, its people, and its foods. Even something like a chair will exude a food's tale.
Từ trước thì cái phương tiện đi lại chính khá là phổ thông giữa Hà Nội với Hải Phòng, đấy là những cái chuyến tàu nối hai thành phố. Chính vì thế tôi muốn mang đến một cái cảm giác cho khách hàng, đó là như ngồi trên những chuyến tàu về lại với Hải Phòng, với quê hương của mình.
These foods all bring back a familiar memory to those from the port city. People say the tastes of these dishes have been imprinted deep into the realms of thought.
Tôi cũng đã có một thời gian sống và học tập tại nước ngoài. Thế sau đó thì lập nghiệp tại Hà Nội. Cái công việc cũng như là cái hoạt động hàng ngày của cuộc sống thì nó cũng cuốn mình đi. Nên là mình cũng không thường xuyên được về Hải Phòng, và thậm chí là về thì cũng không có nhiều thời gian làm. Chính vì thế nên là những cái nỗi nhớ về cái vùng quê của mình, cũng như là đặc biệt là những cái món ăn đặc trưng mà không thể tìm thấy ở bất cứ nơi nào khác ngoài Hải Phòng, nó thúc đẩy tôi mang quê lên chính cái vùng đất mà tôi đang sinh sống.
The Haiphong food story experience will begin with waiting. Flavor acclimatization will follow, and a taste climax will occur. To ensure that this taste journey takes place, the kitchen will need to prepare and display the foods selectively. But before all this, Haiphong food story begins at the train station, where Dương will start off to look for the key ingredients of his hometown. Haiphong is known as a city of ports. It's the biggest shipbuilding hub in Vietnam and the haven for street foods. People here have brought their foods to so many other parts of the country. But most famous among them is probably bánh đa cua, or crab brown noodles. Just like Hanoians and pho, Haiphong people enjoy bánh đa cua from inside the home to outside on the streets.
Bánh đa cua thì thực ra thì là món ăn hàng ngày của gia đình tôi. Mẹ tôi rất hay chế biến cái món bánh đa cua này cho tất cả mọi người trong gia đình thưởng thức. Thì đây là một trong những món ăn rất là thân thuộc.
The taste that Dương will always remember is created by his mother. Dương mother will spend time to perfect the bánh đa cua dish to welcome him home. It's such a familiar dish, but to make it to perfection, the ingredients have to be cooked just right.
Alo Dương hả? Dương anh bạn đâu rồi?
Không phải ở nhà rồi.
In order to cook bánh đa cua, the mother will first prepare the brown rice noodles and soup broth from mud crabs. The next ingredient is meat wrapped in lá lốt leaf, made by the granddaughter right after coming home from school. These elements of the dish are not new, but only the people in Haiphong could think of combining them together with mud crabs to add richness to the dish that's already become a daily addiction, and a pleasure potion for people to hedonistically indulge on each return. Because Dương doesn't get to come home often, today is a special day for him. There is only one dish on the dining table, but the food atmosphere is now filled with stories of life. And for just a short period of time, Dương gets to share with his family his tale of a city 100 kilometers away. In return, his family gives him the confidence to continue sharing his Haiphong food journey all the way in Hanoi. Evolution, migration, movement are chapters in the development of a modern life story. The book that captures this modern chapter the most is called The Tale of the City. People come to the city to study, work, look for a better life. And before they know it, they've already become a character in the story of urbanization. One year ago, Zhang left her hometown in Hưng Yên province to come to Hanoi to study. This 19-year-old girl's everyday routine revolves around her dormitory room, the library, classroom, and school canteen. Every day, Zhang looks forward to the weekend or holidays when she gets to make that special visit home. Hưng Yên province in August is when farmers are rushing to collect the remaining harvest brought to them by the alluvial of the Red River. Below the shades of the post-fruiting longan trees, soybean plants are just starting to give matured fruits, signaling the best quality beans for harvest.
Sau cái quãng thời gian học tập ở trên Hà Nội thì cuộc sống rất là luôn bon chen tấp nập, được về quê cảm giác là rất là thoải mái và được trở về cái tuổi thơ của mình ấy.
An Vĩ Village, Zhang's hometown, is known for its tofu making. Soybeans harvested will be dried, decoated, and made into tofu. The secret story to this village's golden, silky, and buttery tofu lies in the story of the soybeans here. They were grown with love, intensive protection, and harvested in the traditional way. The story of tofu consumption begins with its popularity in Vietnam. There are many ways to consume tofu, all depending on the person consuming it. But to a group of children who grew up on the Red River Delta, tofu consumption is closely related to a type of shelled animal covered in moth, the freshwater snail. When fall arrives, tofu is cooked with snails from the family pond to provide a hearty meal for the cold. Next comes the most time-consuming step, de-shelling the snails.
Bà ơi bà, cháu thích ăn ốc chuối đậu nhà mình nấu nhất nhá.
Nhà mình nấu bao giờ không ngon hơn nhà hàng.
Cháu anh Khương bắt được nhiều ốc nhỉ bà nhỉ?
Mùa này ốc béo chịu khó bắt về luộc mà ăn.
Thế à? Thế đợt nào là ốc béo hả bà?
Đợt này là ốc béo, mùa hè thì ốc gầy.
Thế à? Cháu thấy nó cũng ít con rồi nhỉ?
The green bananas are peeled, cut into bite-sized pieces, and soaked in cold water to rid the bananas of natural sap. To make the dish, fresh herbs and chili are used to enhance the warm flavors of fall. Anybody who has eaten a bowl of snail banana tofu soup will know its flavors through its smell. The smell is generated by a fixed set of ingredients across northern Vietnam. Lightly fried tofu to prevent it from crumbling during cooking. Sliced pork belly to add richness to the soup. And to some people, a vital ingredient, turmeric, to turn the soup and banana yellow. The soup's variation will lie not only in its fixed ingredients, but also seasoning. At Giang's house, they like to add a few special ingredients.
Ở quê em thì món canh ốc chuối đậu thì có thêm cả lạc và xương bần, thì đấy là đặc sản của quê em rồi. Nên là em thấy nó rất là đặc trưng.
Once the soup has been prepared, its tasting chapter will commence right at the port, with a simple meal yet full of care and consideration. The dish was slow cooked for a long time to allow Grandma to enjoy the dish easily. When Grandma is happy, everyone else is happy. To this family, cooking is not just about bringing the right ingredients together. It's also about warming the right thoughts of others over the fire. In this simple meal, food helps spread familial love. After a weekend at home, Giang is now back on the road to return to Hanoi. The flow of life in the city will begin for her again. But there will still be weekends and the foods of her childhood at home to let her relive the story of family and childhood again.